Hello and welcome to me just basically doing the lore section. So if you don't want to watch this, then yeah, feel free. Anyway, it's in the description, but it's for X3 Reunion! I'm failing horribly, don't mind me. But anyway, I thought I'd just do this, and if people want to skip it, then feel free, because, you know, why not? Anyway, Kingdom End. This sector contains one of the most varied sections of products in the known universe. Equipment, raw materials, ship upgrades, and installations of many types can be traded here in a reliably secure environment. This is the Boron homeworld and a place of quiet contemplation and study. Rogue's Fates. The Boron produce high-quality electronics and semi-organic computer systems, as well as the more conventional goods of this large, crowded sector. The supporting factories produce the wealth of raw materials for the local export markets. Queen's Space. This sector provides cheap, clean power for all the Boron sectors. The Boron's ecological sensitive ideology requires all power used in Boron sectors, even planetary power supplies, to be produced space side. Menelaus' Frontier. The Boron and Taladi amicably in this peaceful sector. As with all Boron sectors, the economy is heavily reliant on the agriculture and imported raw materials. The beguiling organic shapes of the Boron space trading stations are constant reminders of their organic origins, or aquatic origins. Seos Buxoid. In the border between the Taladi and Boron space, this system acts as a major commercial centre for the trade between the Foundation and the Prophet Guilds, as well as providing large amounts of raw materials and mineral resources. Though the split rarely deleen to trade to the Boron, both races trade with the Taladi. Much of the business between the two feuding species occurs at the closed doors of this sector, all of the greater profit of the Taladi, of course. Once the favoured retreat for the Boron philosophers and visionaries, this sector is now managed by the Taladi and has become the preferable destination for fun seekers, weed-head space hippies of every race. The best place in this sector produces a narcotic space weed, a meditative drug of choice for the dreamers, artists, and neo-philosophers that are drawn here. These are basically the same. Family Wee. On the split Taladi border, this sector is a focal point of much of the limited trade between the split and other races. The two Taladi systems between Family Wee and the nearest Boron system provide a buffer between the two feuding species. It is usual, however, to find the split on guard against the unlikely threat of a Boron sneak attack. This system is Family Yine. This system provides the split with a wide variety of food and raw materials, as well as being the production centre of the heavy pulse beam lasers. Far from the wild space, this system is relatively safe from pirate attack, though occasional skirmishes are reported. Seaswell. With a wealth of untapped mineral resources, the busy commercial and industrial installations, trade in the Taladi's home is potentially very lucrative, though well policed. The wealth of this system attracts opportunistic pirate activity. To guard the profits of the many, the Taladi destroyer also stands over this sector. The factory and refinery works of Profit Share are renowned for their hard working and partying even harder. The best places can be rough at cycle's end on refinery payday when the dice are loaded and the station stakes are high. Tempers can get frayed. The smoke shacks and speakeasies of the Profit Share are commonly frequented by the most colourful of pirate crews. Rogue's Fate. This system provides most of the weaponry used by the Boron military in the sporadic battles against the Split, in addition to the defence of their systems from the pirate and Xenon raiders. As it is the main supply and outfitting depot of the Boron space fleet, it is a prime target for Split attacks should hostilities resume between the two species. Antigone Memorial. The sector was once occupied by the Argon Federation's largest station, the Antigone. It was attacked in 2015 by the largest Xenon fleet known to date. The station launched its defense fleet once the Xenon ships fired at the docking bays, destroying several fighter wings and setting off a chain reaction that damaged the propulsion system and the process even. The station was destroyed, killing thousands. The crew and many visitors managed to take out make it through the emergency escape pods, which were recovered once the Xenon had retreated, in one of the largest recovery efforts ever made by the Argon. Medevac ships were dispatched to assist. One of those, the Springbird, was attacked while leaving the sector, forcing it into the atmosphere of Sandwell. All contact was subsequently lost. The recovery operation was extended to find survivors on the planet's surface. None were located, perhaps due to the scorching heat of the local star. The outpost has now become a place of remembrance for many Argon who travel here in the honour of the war dead. A power circle. Sometime before the last Xenon conflict, the planet's shipfall was blown apart by a mysterious disaster of awesome magnitude. The shockwave eradicated all installations in the area. At the time of the thriving Argonian industrial colony. God damn, I was feeling horribly. Some efforts have been made to re-establish this colony since, but its activities are currently restricted mainly to the mining and agricultural regions. 3 worlds. On the border of the Argon boron space, the populated planets of the system are popular vacation destinations for the Argon high society seeking safe cosmopolitan surroundings. The very best in the Argon cuisine is made in this system. The equipment dock provides a large choice of weapons and upgrades for ships and pleasure cruisers alike. Cloud-based Northwest. This system is sparsely populated, dedicated purely to the production of raw materials and food for installations in the surrounding systems. The presence of weapons production facilities requires heavy protection from the Federation fleets against sabotage attacks from pirates seeking to weaken the Argon defences. Heron's Nebula. The Argon mine workers in this mineral-rich system are famed across space for the ability to consume vast amounts of space fuel. A semi-legal bootleg operation keeps the miners happy and the bosses rich. Strong liquor loosens tons, and the system is the hive of gossip, rumour and dubious scuttlebuzz. The whole. The Argon system economy is very reliant on the trade between Argon and Boron alliances. The founding guild has its headquarters here, and the trading guild is temporarily seated to the new founded Boron Chamber of Commerce. The many cattle ranches here supply Argonu beef to the local and export markets. Tracy's Clouds. The planet Tessus has a huge population, the Boron demanding to protect billions living there from the dangerous lawlessness of the nearby localized, uncivilized species. The local economy is very reliant on the import of raw materials, most notably the tellurium, which is required for many of the Bolgas factories. Spaceweed Drift. The system is jealously guarded by the Tellari as it contains scarce organic and mineral resources. The seas of Phoebus 4 produce a kilometre-wide high waves, the best surfing in the universe, bar none. The system has a thriving tourist-based trade based mainly on boron and day trips to the planet's many underwater resorts. Greater profits. The relatively safe system ideal for short trading runs and a debut in the factory ownership. The sun oil refineries in this system and more in the surrounding systems are reliant on the import of Solarian sunrise flares, making this an ideal location for a solar power plant and dream farm. Thurok's Pride. Thurok's Pride produces a large complex of computers and hardware required by split warships, plentiful and cheap energy, and a variety of neutral raw materials make this system a lucrative high-tech manufacturing centre. Split and paranoid technology are combined in this system to produce an efficient but powerful beam weapons. The home of the Family Pride. The home of the Split Family Pride is a major resupply point, and for the Split military, as well as having its own bustling civilian economy district, commercial district even. It's the primary planet houses the HQ of the Council of All Families. The martial government rules over all Split affairs. Ronkar's Clouds. The sparse system is primarily dedicated to the production of food. The Rastar oil refineries rely on pirate stations for the supplies of spaceflight. Oh, okay. And the import of all raw materials from the outside systems. A dense, mineral-rich asteroid field fills the whole system. Split's superstition forbids the mining of the largest of these rocks, claiming that it is to be cursed. Ronkar's Fire. The powerful Ronkar's family runs this splits weapons outpost. It is a heavily industrialized system with a lack of warmth and lies? With a lack of warmth, lays emphasize on functionality. It is common for all splits installations. Roncar family warriors patrol their property efficiently and deal with unwanted guests with little courtesy. Blue Profits. This busy and lucrative system with the economy dependent on high-tech electronics, or high-quality electronics even. Blue Profit is the most famous of the source of the distinctive style of music devised by Talari factory workers. Combining Talari reed whistles with boron tone shells and argon and Talari percussive instruments, the Talari blues is appreciated by many sentient species. Balaji's Joy. Deep within the unclaimed space, this is little more than a long-established and well-respected ambush. Rogue Talari Argon stations provide cover for aggressive pirate strikes. A single cratered moon holds the wrecks of many of the ships disabled, stripped and left on the surface by freebooters, hull cutters and privateers. Phantom's Legend. Originally discovered and declared lifeless by the Earth space vessel Winter Blossom, under the command of Rhine Phantom, this system is now a lawless community even of high-tech criminals. Then the legal computer and weapon systems covertly built here over the renowned for innovation and if not reliability, none of which you'll find publicly available. The hackers and cyberpunkers who operate here are notoriously paranoid and heavily guarded by armed enforcers. Excuse me, I'm just having a quick drink. The Wall. This system provides much needed power and fuel and food for the Argon military, as well as providing a convenient temporary HQ for the rapid response squads set up against pirate activity and Xenon insurgents. It is often used as a base to recharge long-range recon ships and carriers. As a result, it is a well-defended and often dangerous system during times of conflict. Argon Prime. Bathed in the sacred light of the sun Sunra, the Argon home systems is dominated by the planet Argon Prime. This rich and beautiful world was densely populated and usually protected by a large Argon military force, a Titan destroyer, and more recently the Argon's latest flagship carrier, the Argon 1, a Colossus-class carrier. Most of the needs of the Argon space fleet are catered for here and the orbiting shipyards, and also outfit private fighters and transport ships with Argon technology. Ringo Moon, the outpost of the basic installations, acts as a resupply point for all Federal Argon ships in the area. It produces only the basic products most required by the small ships in the stations. The system is also the spiritual home to the popular Argon sport known as hardball. Red Light. The Argon military have taken full advantage of the rich resources in this area. Competition is fierce, with many companies all competing for business. There are still profit opportunities, however, in mining for the export market. The station here acts as a resupply point for the Argon military fighters, and a good selection of surplus weapon systems can be found. Home of Light. Scattered in the shadow of the now terraformed planet's Coe's Haven, this recently recolonized system installations are mainly concerned with the production of high-tech and quality electronics and fabrics. Lax security arrangements make this system a favourite route for the pirate raiding parties looking for richer pickings. President's End. Now little more than a smouldering shell, President's End stands as a testament to the ferocity of the Kach. What little remains here has been left untouched, a silent memorial and a burial ground to the countless souls who lost their life, unable to escape this sector's final demise. With the gates that link the areas hold even greater anarchy, Argon security patrols struggle to maintain any semblance of control over the sector. Plans to rebuild are still being held back by the fears of further reprisals from the Kach. Perhaps in time, President's End will see a new beginning. Until then, this sector remains in mourning. Elena's Fortune. After the Kach attacks on President's End, a decision was made to improve the security of the Argon home systems. A task force was assembled in the Wall and sent to Elena's Fortune. Orders were given to capture and retake the sector after the Kach attack decimated the pirate forces who held control over the system for so long. The Argon surveillance expeditions later discovered that the Kach attack destroyed the gates leading to the neighbouring system of a Mankish Slots Treaty. Oh, so there was a way here. Anyway. A Mankish Slots Treaty. Weapons are required by many Weapons are required by many of the hidden outposts and illicit operations of unclaimed space. This sector provides some of the necessary supplies and is protected by both the covert pirate presence and a thick asteroid belt. The mineral content of these asteroids is likely the cause of conflict between the smugglers and the legitimate mining corporations sooner or later. Seal Sprite. The highly destructive particle accelerator cannon and photon pulse cannon weapons are built here under the strict Taladi military guard. Most of the personnel in this system are tied to the military arm of the Prophet Guild or the similar Taladi Company Navy. The market for recreational and luxury goods is high among these personnel on guard detailed in the relatively safe system. Family Ronkar. This system is the property of the Ronkar family, one of the dominant split clans throughout the system. Though the system is not always their property, it was sieged during the last split civil war from the patriarch of all splits. Success here is ensured by the slave labour, illegal mining methods, and ruthless workforce control. This is not a matter of fact that concerns the average split, though. Thurok's Beard. On the fringes of civilized space, this deep space system is no stranger to raids by pirates and other hostile ships. Founded by the Splits, leader Thurok is a prison colony for the Boron captured during wars. It was evolved into a thriving industrial outpost. Company Pride. Though this system is a hive of agricultural and industrial activity, many respectable leaders and merchants avoid it. Adventure seekers and rogues of all species frequent this system. They often pirate the pirate base is a real den for inquiry and squalor. The part flung me off, that's why I got confused. This system is a major link in the split Taladi trade route, and its safety is jealously protected by the Prophet Guild. Benen's Triumph. The last scene on conflict with the sentient races brought forth many heroes. This system is named after one of the foremost who risked to repel the Xenon threat. Though the name still echoes with honour and courage and wisdom, the sector is corrupt and dangerous. The Argon are particularly concerned that the use of this system as a base for slave trade is an insult to one of their most honoured names. Splitfire. Much of the illicit trade between the known universe goes in and out of this system. Pirates and smugglers trade. All races act as a go-between for the sensitive or legal deals between the species. There is a thriving industry in cheap counterfeit paranoid jewellery that is often used as convenient anonymous payment in the black market deals. Cloud-based Southeast. The quiet and unassuming system is a resupply point for the Argon military. Hostile activity is generally minimal as it is well guarded by security patrols. The space equipment dock is a useful source of surplus military equipment, as it is second-hand kit used by the Argon military training outposts in the area. Ore Belt. The mining outpost is surrounded by a field of mineral-bearing asteroids, with a particularly dense asteroid field in the north. Pirate activity is light and generally non-aggressive, mostly transports heading for the North Gate. It is fortunate as high-speed combat in the system is made difficult by the asteroids, which also play havoc with missile guidance systems. Cloud-based Southwest. This crowded system produces high-tech food and clothing, the computer components used by neighbouring systems. A strange religious sect resides here in the huge orbiting temple, searching for the secrets of the sentient life of the universe by studying the ancient legends and deep historical analysis. Emperor Mines. The ore and silicon mines in the system provide mineral-rich resources for the entire Pyramid's empire. These energy-hungry mines operate continuously, their workers dedicating their labour to the glory of the Tsar. The Pyramid Empire permits limited mining in the untapped asteroids in the sector, but only Pyramid may enter the sacred mines on the rusty planet of Zar. Or Zilazar. Pyramid Prime, the jewel of the Pyramid Empire, produces some of the finest ship equipment available. Devastating thermonuclear warheads, semi-organic ship hulls, artificially intelligent flight systems, and highly powerful weapon systems are among the tech products that can be found here. The skies of Pyramid Prime are dominated by the fiery gas cloud, an aftermath of the terrible Xenon experiments. Priest Rings. Though the system is primarily concerned with agricultural production, the factories of this system make it a prime target for raiding and sabotage. The stormy ringed planet that dominates this system is currently being terraformed by the Pyramid for the habitation in the near future. Priest Pity. Sorry, I don't know why I read race. I went Pyramids! Anyway, Priest Pity. This system manufactures hardware for the retrofit yards of the Emperor's Ridge. It provides masses of minerals and organic produce consumed by the crews. Despite the heavy security around the military installations, the Space Jewelry Workshop provides a rich pickings for the most aggressive and desperate looters and pirates based in nearby systems. Dana's Chance. This lawless system is the hub of the black market in food and low-tech industrial produce. Many unscrupulous merchants have made a fortune by trading illicit goods. Many more have been ripped off, ambushed, swindled, bushwhacked, conned, assaulted, hijacked, stranded, killed, or worse. The Peleus Memorial. Bathed in the scorching glow of a burning nebula, this system was levelled by the devastating experimental weapon used by the Xenon forces in the last great conflict. Once a busy cosmopolitan trade route, it is now a rough and ready mining community run by smuggler overlords. Possibly in the pay of the powerful Pyramid jewellery cartels. Hatikla's fate. After the Xenon conflict, this system was abandoned when the retreating Xenon completely destroyed the neighbouring system by forcing its twin stars to go supernova. The colony and factories in this system were eradicated, but it is the home of many refugees of the last Xenon war, and many minor wars that came before it. The people here have been building new lives and homes while they mourn their past and hope for their future. Alatna Hill. One of the first systems to be colonized by the Argon after the last Xenon War, Alatna Hill is supplied and supported base of further exploration into the systems. The jump gate used by the Xenon to retreat was left intact, allowing for the rapid exploration of space beyond the system, the ruthless hunting of the Xenon stragglers by rogue squadrons for revenge-seeking veterans. Akila's Beacon. The aging but brilliant nuclear scientist Akila Hartnell had one dream to create a string of artificial suns that would light her way and provide solar energy for the ever-expanding colonization of sectors by all races. The vessel that would allow Akila to see her dreams set off on its journey. But as it cleared the Omicron Lyris system, the ship was hit by an asteroid travelling so fast that it was virtually impossible to avoid. Greatly damaging the ship. The crew, except for Akila, disembarked and made their escape from the ship at best possible speed. Akila succeeded in getting the ship away from inhabited sectors, but the resulting explosion changed the sector's gate that locked into Akila Hill sector. For a project that nearly ended in disaster, Akila's Beacon is her gift to the galaxy. To the people of the galaxy. A request from Akila's last will and testament asked that the Argon govern the new system, but should be a free place and a safe haven for all traders. The four glowing stars that once graced the sector. The result of Akila's dream, but all were faded and gone. Yet her dream remains in the hearts of many, and so the sector is named after her. Light of Heart. This system serves as a source of ships and equipment for the Argon settlement areas of space, recently claimed after the Xenon conflict. The majority of the traffic here is comprised of Argon scout ships and transport ships heading for our newly founded colonies in the fringe systems. Xenon Sector 101. After the battle in this sector known as Napilices Memorial, the Xenon have found this sector as a junkyard. Oh. Have used this sector as a junkyard even, storing and recycling ships here. The coordinates of the gates to this sector were lost, but a recent survey by the Argon Expeditionary Forces have since uncovered the gate's location. Freedom's Reach. Ex-racing pilot and wealthy I know this word. Money maker, Sir Almond Johnfrisson. I know that word, I just can't think of how to say it. Whatever. Well, we'll just leave it there. And wealthy money trader man, Sir Almond Johnfrisson, used some of his vast financial fortune to help sponsor the construction of one of the largest and most prestigious racing courses available. Its proximity to the Law's Pyro sector does, however, make it make security in the sector an issue. Race events held here do make for some of the most interesting races in the league calendars, though. Emperor's Ridge. This system contains the main equipment dock and retrofit for medium Pyranid fighters. These weapons are of the highest quality and the Pyranid technology is extremely reliable. This system was hit heavily in the last Xenon conflict and the security is tight. This system represents the far border of the old Pyranid Empire and the new Pyranid Empire that consists of territories claimed ever since the Xenon War. Or conflict even. This agricultural system provides This agricultural system provides much of the soybeans that are used in the bases of the Pyranid diet. The heavily ionized water of the system planet contains rare organic minerals that help greatly produce the flavor of the beans nurtured in it. This system suffers particularly heavy losses from the last Xenon conflict. Emperor's Edge. Perhaps the stunning gas nebula that dominates the view over this system is the general atmosphere of peace and tranquility, what inspire the glorious jewellery crafted by the Pyranid. The tiny masterpieces they craft from magiclets can take years to complete and are collected averagely by art enthusiasts around the systems. Savage Spur. Increased cache activity means that the Pyranid have made no move to reclaim this inhospitable sector. There is no other race that have shown interest as it borders only Pyranid space. Localized Xenon Yaki activity also is a negative point to consider, leading some to believe that they are used as a pirate or Yaki safe haven. Mankashlot's Storm. This bleak region is home to the Yaki faction. Little else is known about this sector. Senator's Badlands. Mired in the torment of war without honour. Rumour suggests that the Yaki have chosen the sector as a point of respite for many of them to call home. The Argon and Pyranid Scouts returning from their missions have reported that... returning from their missions. Have reported ships known to be of Yaki origin patrolling this and the adjacent sector of Mankashlot's Storm. Clearly both sectors offer a battlefront upon which to launch further attacks while protecting the dark secrets thought to dwell within the Badlands. The sector's name is clearly a sign of defiance of the Argon and a warning of past mistakes for the Talari. Creature's Void. The name is deceiving, but there is meaning. The sector is located close to Malkar's star, the dominating feature of this flare that streams through the system. Because the stations are located so close to the star, all stations are fitted with the new reflective Talariarium armor that allows for the flares to hit the station and only be slightly affected. Though the shields do protect the stations by absorbing 80% of the energy, the rest is reflected back by the armor. The name comes from the High Priest who visited this sector shortly after discovering, back when the flare was still at a distance, and the moving star was at a distance. So the sector was a void. Any religious paranid thought that the star was drawing closer was an omen, and so many preachers came to see, and hence the name. Pontifex's Realm. Despite fearful miners' tales that the asteroids in the system are all made from solid individuum, they seem to be rich in only more mundane ore and silicon. The two factories produce cheap commercial jewellery for the export market, as well as the well defended against opportunistic attacks, but attract the occasional raids from determined freeloaders even. Lightwater. With the discovery of the North Gate in the neighbouring system Shore of Infinity, Lightwater was founded. With a mixture of food production and solar power generators, this system has grown in importance. The name Lightwater is given to the sector as it is the only inhabitable planet has an unfortunately low gravity for the size, its surface being mostly covered in water. The Boron have recently founded the planet's base colony using minerals that were destined for Lamankish legacy system before plans were scrapped. Montalar. This mining outpost is still being founded near the red gas giant of Hatil's Eye. The trading and food and mineral installations are in place and are waiting for the eagerly awaited private mining outfits who are always looking for new sources of minerals. Unknown sector, new income. The Talari claimed a system with the sole intention of colonizing the two massive planets here. The awful fate of the first scouting parties on the planet's surface and the discovery of the hostile nature of the indigenous life forms that dwell here have ended such plans, and the system is slowly decaying into a place of fear, lawlessness, and anarchy. Seos Doubt. This system is typically of small-scale Talari trading outposts. It produces Talari specialty goods as well as the traditional foodstuffs, both for local Talari and export markets. The Talari merchants here are mainly with the Boron. Wait, what? The Talari merchants here trade mainly with the Boron, living in neighbouring systems, but naturally they are welcome any visitors with credits to spare. Sorry, excuse me, I'm just having a drink. Great Trench. This busy Boron mining colony doubles as a retrofit and the supply center. The Boron ships working on the new colonies. Harsh conditions, pirate raids make the Boron who dwell here harder and more cynical than their compatriots near the Boron homeworlds. I am sorry. Rogue's Legacy. This new Boron colony is being constructed with the aid of the Argon. After heavy losses in the Split and Xenon conflicts, the Boron are eager to not confine themselves to one cluster of systems as they have in the past. The foundations of the thriving mineral colony have already been completed, and Stage 2 is well underway. Lucky Planets. This asteroid-scattered system provides much of the organic supplies required by the new Boron colonies. Many of the ships used in the building and servicing the surrounding Boron systems are built here. Okay. Shores of Infinity. Of little use to the Paranid, this system was leased to the Boron, who have a budding outpost of refineries and chemical plants here. Limited trade between the Paranid and Boron takes place here, and relations between the species are amicable. In return, the Paranid produce the Boron Paranid protection. The Boron lend their extensive knowledge on biochemistry and to the Paranids in the efforts of cyber biology. Oh. Preacher Refuge. Despite being the furthest Paranid system from Paranid Prime, the Tsarists priests run Preacher's Refuge with a strict religious fervour and propriety. Okay. Their quiet and devoted worker monks produce exquisite jewellery inspired by the Tsar poetry? Poetry, I'm guessing, and the very best in automated and semi-intelligent weaponry. Trinity Sanctum. The system's heavy security is due to the principal exports of jewellery and magia snails. The wild, untamed twin planets here are home to the nomadic workforce, famous for the expertise in raising the delicate snails. These shy, reclusive paranoids tend to snail farms across all known space. The most valuable installations in the system are producing only on two sides by artificially constructed asteroid belts. Oh, okay. Emperor's Wisdom. Oh my god, okay. This sector is highly considered to be one of the high importance. In ancient times, the Emperor's Palace was in the high mountains in the Paranid homeworld became so cold that the ice would keep away any travellers. The Emperor chose such locations to stay at his winter palace in the equatorial region. When the Xenon nearly destroyed the Paranid's Prime's atmosphere, the equatorial region was all but lost. Until recently, the Emperor stayed at his palace in the mountains, accessible only because of the heat of the Xenon experimental weapon. In order to keep the tradition, he set up the new winter palace in the system, overlooking a great lake at the foot of the Karmat Mountains. In the winter, the Paranid Prime's northern hemisphere, in the winter of the Paranid Prime's northern hemisphere, the Emperor usually occupies a sector with the advisory dukes, keeping the long tradition that was lost for so very long. Duke's vision. The last great duke to come to the sector, and a few of the shorts Stazuras being in the system, he collapsed and fell into an unconsciousness. When he woke, he claimed he had visions of the great battle in the system that would take place between the Paranid and a strange alien race, known to be the Kach. The Duke decided to consult with the monks at the Great Monastery in Paranid Prime in the Valley of the Setting Star. His visions did not occur again, and he was granted permission to set up a new temple in the system, where he first had his vision. He died without ever knowing the true nature of his visions, or the horror that would follow. Bad Debt. Being the first and only Taladi sector located next to the Paranid sector, the Taladi opened its sector for massive amounts of trade, but trade with the Paranid was never a sensible decision. Trade was low, and not many Paranid passed the sector. The odd ship coming in for supplies, the Taladi chairman of the sector noticed that they were slowly going into debt, and so pulled out most of the high-tech factories. The sector from this point on was dubbed Bad Debt. The name stuck ever since. Though relations between the two races are improving, trade is increasing at a minimal rate. Because of this, the debt that the Taladi trade dock is relatively quiet, with the cargo bays mostly remaining empty and most market sections closed off in a state of decay. Ministry of Finance. The pride of the local Taladi sectors in this colony, the high-tech tower of the Ministry of Finance stands high on the planet's surface. The ministry was set up to oversee the company's finances and when setting up new sectors. Though this wing of the Taladi company wasn't entirely successful, when the neighbouring system Bad Debt was first opened to the public, the sector ran into trouble and the ministry was held responsible. The colony skyline is dominated by the 80-story tall tower that casts a shadow over the Gardens of Trade. A large garden filled with marketplaces made more appealing to visiting Argon and Boron traders. Rise Desire. This sector contains one half of the family Rise assets. They used in the system as a supply depot for passing split craft. The planet's main colony consists of a large geodesic dome. Inside one can find large amounts of weaponry sold in armory markets. Pirate activity in the system is also increased because of the local activity, but the Rai family does nothing to stop this. Being on the border of the local Taladi sectors, Rise Desire can usually find a large number of Taladi coming in to trade and purchase illegal goods. Family Rai. The lesser family of Rai, in the days before space exploration, spent most of its time in the Split Prime, using its knowledge for espionage and sabotage to plunder other family resources and claim them as salvage. Rai moved off-world when their own system when they became a more powerful family even. after helping the family Roncard in a battle against the old patriarch. This sector contains half of the family's assets in space trading, including their own carrier. Ryan no longer uses espionage as their main trade, but are now building up their own military. They also claim rumours of there are also rumours of local bars of the hidden gates near or in the system. Oh, okay. Would that be... No, I don't know. Reservoir of Tranquility. Located near the giant star of Lirel, this system is a scarce but strategically important power for the Boron. Being the border colony of the local split family, this sector acts as a crossroads for the Boron settlements, making it particularly important for passing trades. It is guarded by a lone destroyer with escorts. Pirate activity here is minimal. Barren Shores. This system was originally empty, with thousands of a few asteroids creating a barrier near the gate. It wasn't until the Boron moved the gate away from the vein of asteroids the Boron Shores today has become a thriving trade colony, with exports being high. Whether high-tech goods or... Wait, what? Whether high-tech goods are available at the time is unknown. Oh, right, okay. Great Reef. The sector holds a major settlement of the recently set up by the Boron, a construction colony based in ship production. The system is named after the nebula that is located nearby. This colony itself has factories for both facilities, even for both families and militaries, with minuscule recreational domes containing restaurants, water parks, and marinas. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look. Okay, right, cool. Shining Currents. The Boron sector of Shining Currents was founded as a food production centre to aid in the continuing growth of the Boron Kingdom. The name comes from the reflection of the Mercury Ocean on the moon of the primary planet. Mists of Elysium. The planet Elysium is described as a peaceful paradise, a world filled with lush plant life. The lowlands, however, are filled with a thick mist of half the planet's day. This does not seem to worry the Boron, who remain some distance from within their deep sea homes. Even unknown sector. My God, I forgot how much. Ugh. Well, unknown sectors we don't have to worry about that, so that's good. In the Holy Descent. The sector lies in the low orbit of the hostile planet of Zarbri, where the Tsarist priests accuse the early colonists of not following the Paranid religion. Consecrated fire. The fire pits in this planet of the Tsar Zin were deemed to be the holy by the priests of Paranid Tsarist religion, after the original expedition was consumed by a firestorm that formed in one of these pits. Unknown sector, Pontifex's Seclusion. This is the last sector occupied by the New Duchy sectors. This system is famed for its lack of hospitality. It is said that it is a retreat for the Pontifex in case he needs to leave the main sectors and be out of contact for one reason or another. It is deep within the Second Duchy. This sector is hard to reach, especially within the pirate sectors inhabiting a route in this area. Freya's Retreat, or Friar's Retreat. The sector is occupied by one planet and remains in its only moon. It is unknown how the moon was destroyed in this manner, but the fallout has caused the planet's atmosphere to become irradiated, leaving it deadly to all forms of life. When the Paranid moved in, they set up a standard colony with basic resources. Hopefully in time, more will be built. Spring of Belief. Spring of Belief was originally a Boron sector named Queen's Paradise. An incident occurred during the scientific experiment on the planet's surface, releasing vast amounts of radiation. Soon after, the local populace started to die of a mysterious disease. When it was discovered that the radiation was the cause, the Boron government ordered the evacuation of the sector. Xenon fleets also tried to inhabit the sector, but the radiation affected their electronic systems on board of the crafts. As a result, the radiation grew weaker and the Pyranid finally settled in the system and claimed it as their own. With the radiation now a minor problem, the Boron government has tried to reclaim the system, but the Pyranid government refuses to give up the tenure. Priest's Refuge. This sector was formed shortly after the claiming of the sector to the south. Set up originally as a monastery, it provides a place for passing priests to pray and hold quiet meditation. The military forces were virtually non-existent during the early settlements, leaving the monastery open to attack by raiding parties from the nearby pirate sectors. The priests held their position in the safety of the temple caverns for several Tezuras before the Pyranid managed to get a destroyer to the sector to protect it. The destroyer is now moved to the next system to prevent such insurgents from happening into Pyranid territory again. Cartel's Domain. Most of the Pyranid now in the spaceborne colonies. With most Pyranid now in spaceborne colonies, the High Priest of the Tsar chose to seek new cartel to set up his religious sections in this new sector in new duchy systems. This sector is now home to the cartel, who chose this sector for the capital of the second duchy. The system boasts shipyard facilities and equipment docks, as well as being guarded by a destroyer, mainly for the protection from the pirates to the north, past the North Gate. Ooh. Coffee! I think we'll be done reasonably soon, within the next, 15 minutes, but anyway. Just a mild break for a little second. When the Pyranid fleet first entered the system, they found an empty sector accessible by only 2 gates, but the Palanid remains a mystery here. There are a few remnants of the civilization, with one relic, a needle-like object made from stone that stands 3 stories high, in the middle of what has been a city. At the foot of the monument, a large gemstone has been found inside the carved stone case. After prolonged surveys, it was discovered that it was once a large building here, which was thought to be a temple. Scientists today are still trying to understand what the script on the needle object means. Monkey's Revenge. Mokai's Revenge, okay there. The rogue sector in this trade lane between the old sectors and the more recent expansions by the Pyranid Empire. The small trade outpost that runs itself independently from the other races. It has little or no place with pirate raiding parties taking the opportunity to seize power in the system. Most ships that come through this sector can be expected to come under attack come under some form of attack, and with the Pyranid not willing to send forces to assist ships, with the exception of other Pyranid traders, there is little chance of official help. Miton's Revenge. The sector was worthless by other races, inaccessible by other races. Because of the minefield in the sector to the north, the sector was originally a boron research sector with a handful of stations. This colony was a working one, with the colony plans for Lemontstrat's legacy fell through after the pirate attack. This colony had started to be abandoned. Some stations were scuttled, others were later reactivated by pirate forces who have now led the claim to the system. Also, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Yep, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. And again, that's great! Lemontstrat's legacy, oh god. This dark system is located in the far edge of the Giftdrach Void, I don't know how to say that. A large area of space where no stars can form. The remnants of an ancient battle were found in the system by the Boron fleet on the first pass through the system. Subsequently, many Yezuras of archaeology and recovery was undertaken with the assistance of the Argon. After the system was cleared of debris, the Boron colonial ships were cleared to move in, but the jump into the system did not go as planned. On entry, they found themselves in the middle of a pirate ambush. The 14 colonial transport passenger and freight ships were destroyed, and the capture of some smaller ships, over 2,000 Boron were killed. The pirates have since planted a large minefield in the hope of capturing other ships, though travel through the system should be taken with great care. I fail. Yanamis Zura. The Tolari have recently rediscovered this historically important system of Yanamis Zura's already a thriving economy. Mainly due to the position in the busy trade route, it provides a broad range of raw materials to the neighbouring systems. It serves as HQ for both the Prophet Guild and the Taladi Company in the new territories. 18 billion. This busy Taladi colony is named after the honour of the warriors and civilians of other species who perished in the first Great Xenon conflict. The system itself is sparse and lacks many basic comforts. The Taladi here are possibly even more avaricious and sneaky than their homeworld brethren. Xenon Sector 347. There is no data on the sector, save that it contains a huge watery planet known to the Boron as Seiras, the Sea of Life, or the Life of the Sea, which in legends insists inhabited by giant sea dragons. Many ships have set out to explore the system, few have returned. Scale Plate Green. Dedicated mostly to production of nostril oil for the use in the industrial installations in the neighbouring systems, Scale Plate Green is situated in a small asteroid field near the garden planets of Nature's Prophets, the native homeworld of the swamp plant and the sunrise flowers. This system is home PTNI HQ. This system is home to the organisation that controls the supply and raw material known as Navidium. Its factories produce high-quality weapons for the Taladi as well as the other general resources for the two planet sectors. The system is guarded by both the PTNI security arm as well as the company ships. Prophet Center Alpha, situated between the uninhabitable dust planets, this relatively new Taladi sector provides the raw materials as well as the light weapons for military and exploration ships. This system is earmarked by the Prophet Guild for property expansion and investments. $2,000. Established at the same time as the new income, this system is well organised. Taladi system provides most of the ships travelling through the newly colonized Taladi systems. The inhospitable rocky moon of the fringe of the system is used as a training ground for the Taladi Company Profit Protection Troops. Patriarch's Keep, situated in the heavy asteroid belt, this foreboding split mining colony has grown into a second capital home system for the split space. It is a successful trading location as well as providing the much needed support for split military ships. Run by the relatively liberal Thai family, it is the only split system not using forced labour in its factories. Oh, okay. Cho's Defeat. The split secured this mineral-rich system from Xenon rear guard early after the last Xenon conflict, but sustained heavy losses during so. It could not exist as a welcome, if rough, trading post on the busy route between many species systems. Few communities hate the Xenon more than the inhabitants of this system. Patriarch's Retreat. Originally discovered and claimed by the Split Patriarch as a hideaway, the sector is now a thriving commercial colony. It is from here that the Split Patriarch ordered his forces to repel the attacks from the rebelling family of Ronkar. In the final treasuries of the war, the sector was made impenetrable with three of the Patriarch's latest destroyers. They managed to defend the sector with an armament of 20 plasma throwers per ship. The Ronkar family finally found a way around this blockade. They sent in a small fleet of heavy fighters that made successful kamikaze runs against a new command vessel and destroyed it. Then combined the Ronkar and Niji family attacked. Eliminating the other two prototypes, the Patriarch was captured and disposed of. The plans of these prototypes were lost in the battle, unfortunately. Thurk's son, prevented by Argon from the invading... What? Prevented by the Argon from invading Boron territory, the splits... I don't even understand how that makes sense in words. Whatever. The splits have set out the colonization of these space around their own systems. Thurok's son was one of the first of these systems. His mineral resources and agricultural plans provided raw materials for the split push into new systems. Anyway. Niana's Hideout. Named after the Argon heroine and the Gonar priestess of Niana Gunne, great-granddaughter of the famous Argon leader Nathan Gun. This system was the location of some of the more colourful events in her life. It is now a rough place where the times are hard and the people are harder. It is much illegal activity in the system and the skirmishes are common. Omicron Lyri remains true to the courage and conviction of those who knew that this sector would... Omicron Lyri remains true to the courage and conviction of those who knew that this sector would not be the last will and testament of the battle fought against the Kach. Here lies the souls that not forgotten, those who understood that it was those that understood it would be the point at which the races would stand tall and take the battle onwards. Those remaining here are neither forgotten nor forsaken, or left without hope. Life goes on, while in the shadows lurks the destroyers of worlds, even. Circle of Labour. This Argon colony was founded by Keo Gult, head of the Argon Agricultural Council. But as work continued, it was discovered that the more uses could be found for the system. The sector is owned by the ACC, which means very little money has been put aside for non-essential technologies. Residents have thus needed to find a way to make money apart from selling wares and produce. It is believed that there are some illegal goods sold in the sector, but that is yet to be proven as residents, police protect the sector itself. Stems of nebulae? Streams of nebulae inhabit the system, and the Circle of Labour is usually home to several scientists who try to find a way to mine the untouched surface resources. The system is unusual as sunbursts of strong phases of intense light. Heretic's End. Discovered and claimed by the Paranid, Heretic's End was abandoned due to the distance from the rest of the Paranid Empire. Today it is used as a training area for the Paranid pilots. And other things. Elysium of Lights. Oops. The Gonar Prophets and Mystics, their mission is now complete. Gonar Prophets and Mystics, their mission is now complete, travelling along a very different path that led to their forefathers. The burning prophecy of Nathanar Gunnar's words, once held as embodied in the sector, now home to the ever-increasing number of believers intent on ensuring that the truth of the Gunnar's crusade lives on in eternity, and that ends now. Each new station is blessed with the considered a distant annex of the Gonar Temple. Treasure Chest. This struggling Aragon agricultural system is situated between the breathtaking planets of Gilrith Prime and Gilrith Beta. Recent attacks on the supply lines by Xenon forces have led to many firefights among the installations. Asteroids are on the busy trade routes in the system. Black Hole Sun. The further Federation outpost from Argon Prime. This dangerous system is both deep in resupply points of the military trading station. The Xenon activity in the system is carefully monitored by the Covert's Federation branch, who are rumoured to have an inaccessible base near the storm-battered planet of Hades. Nathan's Voyage. This strange system is named after the Gonar belief that Nathanar Gunnar once visited the sector. No? Anyway, the reason for this belief is that when first encountered, a piece of debris was found. After an investigation, it was found to be from two ancient fleets. All the debris has been cleared up, and the new system is now being forged in the brown nitrogen dioxide nebula streams in this system. Pirate activity has also increased and has meant an increase in the military patrol in the system. Many pilots tend to avoid the gas clouds, as pirate ships are often known to hide in nebulas and participate in surprise attack runs. The local population are made of mixed labour level from high-tech supports to miners. Wastelands. Originally named the sector Light of Hope until the Xenon attacked many years ago, it was clear that the sector's patrols wouldn't hold up against further attacks, so the colony was prepared for an evacuation using small transport ships Backed up from the Argon military was sent 4 Titan-class destroyers and 2 Colossus-class carriers with a complete complement of fighters. They were to escort the transport ship out of the system, but before they could get to the gate, the Xenon ships jumped in and overwhelmed the destroyers and carriers. All civilian ships and 1 destroyer, the Challenger, escaped. 3 Uzuras later, an Argon force with Boron assistance took back Light of Hope and was renamed Wastelands, reflecting the carnage and the debris that the force found. Now cleared of the Darius, okay, I don't know. And with the Xenon threat now greatly diminished, its inhabitants strive to maintain a normal existence. Midnight Star. Midnight Star was discovered by the Argon Expeditionary Forces, named because of the angle at which the now colonized planet faces the sun, leaving one hemisphere in eternal nighttime. Belt of Aguilar. Wait, did I read this one? Oh no, I didn't. Interworlds is called so because of the strange arrangement of planets. 2 planets inhabit the system, creating a bottleneck with a large jump gate route. The entire system is only accessible via 1 lone gate when first discovered. Originally, an agricultural colony was built by the Argon to supply foods to the rest of the Argon Federation. Interworlds has expanded to include more high-tech stations and produce. It is also home to the 4th generation Argon Expeditionary Force, which is still looking for new gate routes that can be used. Belt of Aguilar. This sector is now established shortly after the initial Kach invasions. It was intended as a supply sector for supplying foods and minerals to the Argon colonies. The Grand Exchange refers to the large skyscraper on the surface of Gold Miner's Dream, the primary planet. The Traders Exchange the Traders Exchange was supposed to control the company trade throughout the known universe. However, the Kach tax on Teleri communication satellites stopped the necessary communications. I am sorry about this, like, frog in the back of my throat now. Ooh. Merchant Haven was established as a major trade port for the new Teleri expansion campaign. However, the plans fell to the surprise attacks by hostile forces, stopped the advance into nearby systems. The sector now serves the local Teleri population and trade centres, with the nearby Argon and Split. Maelstrom. The Teleri discovered the sector shortly after they occupied the neighbouring Merchant Haven system. A strong magnetic storm blocked their sensors, and the fleet of pirate ship vessels ambushed the explorers and destroyed their vessels. The Teleri have not returned. Xenon Sector 598. The newly discovered system shows that the Xenon are still concerned. The sector houses a secondary production facility for the Xenon vessels and is home to the large defence force. Some speculate that the core system is nearby. Zetar's Dominion. After establishing their primary system as to the anger of the Ark family, the Zetar Patriarch gained friendship from the Nijing family and secured relations to establish a second system. The Zetar system is formed bordering the dangerous Xenon system. Family Zetar. Zert, even. After a failed attempt to secure land from the family Niji, the family Zart had no choice but to look elsewhere. The rumours emerged over a time that the Roik family had discovered a system in which they were planning to occupy. However, because of the lack of resources, they kept such knowledge a closely guarded secret, or so they thought. Acting upon data collected from their spies, the Zetar family moved quickly and established a colony, much to the Reich family's anger. Family Reich. This home is once the great... This is the home of the once great family Reich. After the territorial disputes with the Naiji family, Reich lost one of the 2 outposts in the second colony system, which was taken from the ownership of the last patriarch who fell in the Great Battle of the family Ronkar. Unlike some other systems in the local area, this system is relatively uninteresting. but one may find an odd skirmish between the neighbouring Boron colony and the Reich family. Neiji's deception. The system used to belong to the family Reich, but after the dispute with the family Neiji, it was taken in a rather strange battle. Neiji outfitted some of their freighters with large explosives charged with a detonator transmitter signal to say they were from family Wei. They later sent a distress signal saying that they were under attack by pirates. The Reich family carrier came to assist, and the freighters that were near the west gate. But when it was in reach of the 6 freighters, simultaneously exploded, heavily damaging the carrier. Neiji quickly then moved in their destroyers and attacked the family Reich's military forces, destroying the carrier with relative ease and seizing the system for the family Neiji. Family Neiji. This agricultural system is run by the brutally efficient Neiji family. It produces several of the split foodstuffs that are shipped to the 2 planets in the systems and neighbouring systems. The family is particularly brutal, offensive and arrogant, even by split standards. Thyne's Abyss. This deep space system is about as close to Split get as a civilian operation. It produces foodstuffs and other organic produces and mines that the family are seen throughout the system. Though they have little military presence all Split are required to complete combat training, and civil split pilots are no easy targets. Xenon Sector 472. This system was once the Split mining outpost. One Tazura, a distress signal from the colony was intercepted by the Argon security forces in the Black Hole Sun. When they investigated, they found the entire system was destroyed. The planet was shattered in radioactive hell. There had been no official explanation from the government concerning the disaster, though rumours suggest that the Xenon superweapon is to blame. And access to the system is now restricted. Pilots who passed through the system are once said that there was a large ship in the system, but recently these reports have been stopped. If the ship existed, then it is unknown where the ship is now. Dun dun dun. Okay, I'll go up here first. Ocean of Fantasy. This system was originally the centre of the Xenon weapons testing zone during the last conflict. This system's planet was blown apart by an experimental weapon, probably rumoured to be the Galaxy Killer device, used to vaporise and ignite still burning Hades Fire Nebula. It is now known to be a laid-back boron mining colony and farming colony. Anyway, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, excuse me about that, just had to go away and do things. Anyway, bluish snout. This small boron... I don't know why I said heavy. This small boron colony produces mineral products as well as a heavily regulated species. It is an attractive little hostile... It has attracted little hostile intention so far. The boron tolerate the Split, using this system as a convenient route to the unexplored space in return for safe passage of boron craft through certain Split systems. The planet of Oceania is a huge world enveloped in a swirling coloured mists that encircle the spectral dust rings that are popular meditative resorts for boron monks who spend weeks in isolation in the planet's aquatic wilderness to contemplate their purpose and the meaning of life. The installations here serve as the pilgrims' basic needs. Xenon Sector 597. Though many ships have been studying this sector, few have managed to return. Once shunned by all sentient species, last surveillance records showed that this system was home to the pirate base. The Xenon are constantly placed under attack. Pirate forces set up this base in search of easy pickings when the Xenon fleet jumped into the neighbouring grid of 596, only to find the Xenon returned a few Vazuras later. With access to the gate blocked, evacuation attempts were futile even, leaving them with no option except to hold their position. Their survival in this sector is still a cause of much debate. Xenon Sector 596. The existence of this sector was thought to be little more than a legend when that was until a lone boron pilot, crazed with fear and exhaustion, was picked up in Menelaus' paradise. More than a legend, it was praised with fear and exhaustion, picked up on him. He died shortly after rescue, babbling something desperately about an eternal cosmic horror buried deep within the skin of the dark planet. Since then, the Argon spy probes have been sent to investigate. As of yet, no discovery has been made. Getsun Fune. This very remote system was discovered several years ago by chance by an explorer. The governments of the individual races could not agree who should put up and administer the system in the future. In order to underline their own requirement in this area of space, each race built space stations. Despite the heavy protests of the Split Patriarch and the Patriarch of the Split, the female discoverer was appointed during the transition period as independent administrator of the region. Each government also sent their own space workers and colonists, transporters, to combat ships, and even the mighty destroyers to keep the peace in the Virgin system. It was the desire of the discovery of this system to be named after a ship in which another female warrior found her way into the X-Universe. The system is now under administration by TerraCorp, who started to bring in their own stations and accompany empty spaces within the commerce grid. Xenon Sector 534. Discovered while exploring Getsun Fune, this sector is cleared by the Xenon by a small force of ships. Unfortunately, soon after the mission was completed, the Argon Discoverer was ambushed. Its captain's last report stated that the destroyer even was ambushed. Its orders stating that the Xenon entered the sector from an unexplored gate, the position of which was not recorded. The destroyer was never heard from again. The sector has rarely been entered since and is considered by the Argon to be somewhat of an accursed nature. Hatickless Joy. Located near the split space, this system is usually on the knife's edge of tension. The Boron have little military presence, and here, lest they give the split an excuse to attack, then instead rely on a covert intelligence and goods will of the other species to dissuade the split from aggression. Jin's Escape. Founded to prevent the Boron expansion further into this area of space, the Split colony is heavily guarded and produces surveillance equipment and defensive weapons, allegedly for the protection against Boron aggression. A covert Federation intelligence group in turn watch the Split for signs of aggression against the peace-loving Split. Boron even. Tirk's Deprivation. Once owned by the Tirk family, this was a hub of activity. Mining was the main job here, but after the Dragon incident, the sector was seized by the neighbouring system Niji family, under orders from the Patriarch of all Split. Now the sector has run into disrepair. New stations have been built, but poorly maintained. Pirate activity has increased, and the remnants of the minefield placed by the Tirk family have stopped the seizure of the system can be found hidden in the nebula. Pilots are asked to take caution in this system. Those mines could still be operational. The family Teak. This sector is home to the disgraced family Teak, who were held responsible for the tragic incident that destroyed the Split shipyard and killed 500 Split. What stopped the family from losing all its assets was that the Patriarch of all Split, using Tirk as a sign of to all Split, such incidents will not be tolerated. Now the sector is home to all the family's assets, and that they are the only recent Yazurers that the sector is being visited by the other families for trade. The sector also marks the border of the Talari fortune systems blocked, 3 sectors that the Talari use for production, and also contain the sectors that the Tirk family use for the main source of trade. The family's destroyer patrols the system. Only destroyer patrols the system. Home of opportunity. The border of the Talari split space, this part of the universe is located in this system. Trade between the Talari and the split families Tirk and Niji usually take place in the oddly designated systems arranged by the Paranid sector designers, Amancus Strat. This sector arrangement is thought to bring forth good fortune, to which the Paranid claim a great deal of in the new name of the Emperor. Much to the chagrin of the Talari, to whom Home of Opportunity is the capital of their local sectors. Mines of Fortune. When the Talari mining exec came across the system, they sent several of their explorer ships to evacuate the system's resources. One of the ships, the Mercantile, came across an abandoned space station set in some of the mineral-rich asteroids. The technology seemed to be similar to the Argon. However, they denied ever holding a presence here, so the neighbouring systems already belonged to the Talari. So they quickly moved in and realigned the gates with the standard navigational systems near the alien mines. After relocating the stations with retrofitting the stations with Talari technology, the largest Talari mining operation in history opened for business. Shareholders' Fortune. A highly defended system for reasons that only Talari and a few others know, the Shareholders' Fortune system sector developed around a small field of asteroids. The Talari believed that this system would provide them with a source of Navidium, a rare mineral found only in some parts of the universe. After they found out that the research was incorrect and the assumption that the Talari had turned their building of new factories into high-demand technologies. The Vault. While Talari Company is not known for its military virtues, the population of the system may choose to disagree. The Vault is a system hard to reach by normal means. The sector contains nothing but high-tech stations. The Vault is also home to the Talari company's main research facility, always trying to improve upon current technology. Whilst the sector is relatively new, it is thought that it will be expanded further with new ship designs and construction facilities. Work has already begun on the replacement of the aging heavy freighters employed by the Talari traders. And I believe that's all of it. I could be wrong, obviously. Oh, god damn it, come on. I believe that's all. No, come on. T. I'm looking for the vault. There we go. I believe that's all, because if I'm remembering right, this Westgate links to Family V. Excellent. So, I will leave it there, and until next time, all the best, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hope to see you in X3 Terran Conflict. Which, again, will be reasonably short. I'll be in prelude, I'm trying to mainly make a series out of, but, you know, the story's nice to go through. I was actually wanting to go through the story again, because I was wondering how things actually went, because I couldn't remember exactly. But anyway, as I said, I'll leave it there, so until next time, all the best, and I hope you enjoyed.